Quick review on just what I traded today. What I was watching ADRO long, CLSN long. This SWHC is actually getting up here, but it didn't give us our setup really above the entry that we wanted. It was a nice setup, a nice day chart, had news, had everything that we wanted, but really didn't get the setup that I wanted on this. And so I decided to sit out this trade. Didn't get it to the afternoon. Afternoon's been so choppy. I'm just waiting on like live intraday news. CLSN was watching this long for again our setup above the level, which was 331. But the problem is it just came in and started making lows, so that one got marked off the list. Was watching Pfizer for a fade at 35.70, and this one never hit. This is a kind of a different style setup that we do, but it was based on the news. And then lastly was watching GoPro for a long, and that one didn't hit either. Was also watching Mobileye NBLY, which is one I didn't even have on my alert list. I just had up on a chart, and I told the room that it was one that had news out that we would potentially take a look at. And this was the one that ended up setting up. It had the good, nice, high relative volume. Set up right here on the third 5-minute bar. Got long. Sold into this big pop right here. Took profits, and that was that on Mobileye. Then Yelp, I found on a scanner, had news out. Everything was good on this. Day chart, textbook setup on the day chart. Really nice little gap. Had a nice trigger above 49.05. Got our setup that we were looking for above 49.05. Took it long. Was selling some through this spike to 50. Super nice setup here. Again, another good trade. And this ADOR was a IPO that we had on the watch list. ADRO, sorry. I said ADOR. ADRO was one that we had on the watch list. Got the 5-minute setup that we looked for. Only took 500 shares of this because slippage could have been an issue, but basically took 2 points on it and took $1,000 on this one. Was going to take it long at the towards the bell after the break of this high and decided to sit it out again. I mean, first you have to make the money, then you have to keep the money, and part of keeping that money is just sitting on your hands. And when things start booming again and Power Hour starts being Power Hour like it was actually named after, I probably will start trading in the afternoon, but right now there's just no point in banging the keys in the afternoon unless you feel like making donations to the market. It's just too choppy. So I sit and wait for live intraday news. And there was one setup that I missed on this MAC. JS Trader put the news in the room. Really great setup on our 5-minute chart. You got an inside bar here, inside of this bar. Play a break of the high, and you could have taken this, even though it doesn't look like much right here. Move from 81.83 to 82.84. So you got pretty decent little move here. And this was just a great setup on this MAC after news. So again, this was your inside bar. Now, if you played it on the break of the news, which, again, I try to tell people do not take anything, do not take any trades during lunch. This was a little bit after lunch. But nonetheless, it would have been an okay play here. Long off of news, and that was really the only thing I missed. So I wasn't too upset about that. A lot of the setups I saw just kind of petered out and didn't work at the levels. And again, that happens a lot in the afternoon. So afternoon is best just to wait for live intraday breaking news. So this is all, and again, the basics of the strategy: find stocks with news, find stuff that's going to be in play in the morning. I try to find company-specific news like this SWHC, again, raising guidance, and look what's happening. It's getting above average volume. It's ripping. It's at the highs right now. The day chart's set up to break out. Everything was set up on this chart, and that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for, is this stock-specific news with high intraday volume, with moving averages set up. You have no descending resistance, and I'll kind of show you on this, for example, on this MBLY, what we were looking at on the chart. And this was, again, really nice trade, really easy trade, but the stock's breaking descending resistance. Okay, breaking descending resistance, and you can draw it however you want to draw it. I'm going to start at the top and come, and you have another pivot right here down again. So it's a fresh break today, breaking above this pivot level, this $45 level on MBLY. We got our setup above the level that we were interested in trading it, right? And so we took it long. So it's very, very easy strategy. And as long as you're disciplined enough to make sure that everything checks every time, you should make money the majority of the time. I've gone almost the entire week without missing a single trade. I went last week where I had 4 days and didn't have a miss, and that's not common. You can't expect that. You gotta expect to be wrong sometimes. Sometimes people build a strategy and they try to build a fail-proof strategy where they're never going to lose money, and it's just not realistic to do that. You just want to know that your strategy works enough to where if you have to, you can get out of the hole. Your big winners are going to keep or make up for a lot of your small losers, and the majority of the time, your head's going to be right. You're not going to be down in the hole trying to get out. So again, hopefully you understand. If you have any questions, you can email me, Kavan at tradewithkavan.com, and hopefully we'll see you in the chat room tomorrow. Everybody have a good night.